Hi there and welcome to week 2 of the intermediate section of the Year 6 into 7 induction videos from the Emmbrook School. Well done to everyone who did in fact all the videos last week in some cases, or in fact just the intermediate one if that's what you're returning to here. Remember, if you find them too easy or too hard, you can go either way, back down to the beginner or up to the advanced ones and give them a go. I'm going to follow the same format as last week, just going to display the questions here if you want to pause and have a go, and then I'll display the answers, and then you can flick through if you weren't sure any of the solutions for any of them. This week I'll put a cross through the questions as I go, so you can easily flick through the videos to find the one that you want. A little bit trickier this week, so if you're getting 10 out of 10 on this, you're doing an excellent job. Okay, so feel free to pause now. Okay, and here also are your answers, so give them a tick if you got them right. Maybe go back and see if you can find out why you got something wrong if you did. By yourself, it might just be a little calculation error, and if you're still not sure, then flick through the video to find the solution that you were looking for. Okay, let's get started on question 1 then. So there are lots of different ways to do all these questions. We'll stick with something a little bit simpler now. I don't want to just force you into hard and fast rules with these. So let's draw out what we're talking about here. So we've got 2 3/4. Okay, so again, let's go to our circles. So we've got 2 whole circles. Go to a slightly thinner pen. And then we have 3/4 of a circle. Now, rather than trying to draw 3/4 circle, we'll draw a whole circle. But then I'm going to cut it into halves and then quarters. So half of a half is a quarter. Okay, and then shade in the bit that we want there. So I'll shade in everything that we want. So we want 2 holes and 3 out of 4 parts of the last circle there. And then to that, we want to add a half. Okay, so we'll add to that, cut that down the middle, 1/2. So then let's have a little think about what that's going to give us then. Okay, so we could just go, well, look, do you know what? We're definitely going to have, when we come to the end, minimum, we have 2 holes here. Okay, so we're not going to worry too much about those. We'll just pop those to one side. So you might have seen other methods where you make this a top-heavy fraction. We're not going to bother with that with adding. There's really no need. You've got the 2 holes. We'll set that aside and come back to it. So the real question I want to ask is this: what is 3/4 plus 1/2? Okay, and that might be easy for some of you to imagine, but for others, let's have a look at what we really mean when we say 3/4 add a half. So let's have a look back at this then. So we've got these 3/4 and we just want to somehow bung in this 1/2, and what would that look like as a picture? Well, let's see what we end up with. So what we can do with fractions is we can manipulate the picture that we've drawn to suit our needs. So we go back to this half one. Well, it would be quite nice if we were dealing in the same fraction. So we could go back to this one, second drawing of this one, and split that 1/2 up into 2/4. Okay, so 1/2, 1 out of 2, is the same in terms of what we've drawn as 2 out of 4. It's the same proportion. Okay, now this makes it a little easier because now we're actually asking the question, if I've got 3/4 and then I add 2/4 to that, really in the world of quarters, the question simply is, how many quarters do I have? Well, I have 5. Okay, so now we went back to a picture though. Let's go back to our circle again. If I start with 1 hole, well, if I break it up into quarters, well, that's 4. Can't get more than 4. So now I'm going to have to go to another circle to fit in that additional quarter. This is the one that we want. Okay, so let's have a think about what we've got here in total. So we have the 2 holes from the first part of the question. We've now created another 1 hole because we had 5/4 here from the addition of the 2 fraction parts. So that's another 1. So now we're up to 3. And what was left over at the end? Well, we still had another quarter that ate into another circle. So in total, we've got 3 holes that we filled up and 1 quarter. Okay. Now there are quicker ways to do that, but I think if you can draw your way through some of these problems, you'll have a better understanding of what it really means when you add fractions together. Okay. Right. Okay, then, so for question 2, it says the temperature is 11 degrees and it falls, goes down, by 13. What is the new temperature? What do you think? Well, why do we have thermometers? So it's a scale, isn't it? So when we look at temperatures, we look at a temperature scale. Normally we draw a number line going across this way, but perhaps we'll just draw it down just to give ourselves the full thermometer feel. So we're currently at 11 degrees. Okay, somewhere down here there'll be 0. And the gap between 0 and 11 degrees, of course, is 11 degrees. It's just 11. But I want to go down by 13. So I went from 11 down to 0, going this way, I would lose 11 degrees. How many more do I still have to lose? Well, I've got to lose another 2 degrees to lose, put a little degree sign on there, to lose 13 in total. So lose 11, then lose another 2. 11 and 2 is 13. Okay, so if I'm at 0 to lose 11, and if I lose another 2, I'll be at negative 2 degrees. So really this question is simply, what is 11 take away 13? We know it's going to be negative because we're taking away a bigger number than we started with. And the question is, how many numbers do we get into those negatives? Okay, so for question 3, calculate the area of the triangle. Some of you may have done this really quickly, and the area of the triangle is simply the base here times what we call the perpendicular height. That's why it's really important they've drawn this right angle here. It's not any old height. So if I've given you this length here, which we call the hypotenuse, a little bit extra there for a right angle triangle, this is not the height. It has to be the height straight up from the ground that makes a right angle with the base. Okay. And really, what is a triangle? Well, in this case, it is just half of a rectangle. And if you had to find the area of the rectangle, you would just do 8 times 4. That would give you this whole area here. And then we would divide it by 2 to give us half of the area, which if we switch colours would be the area of the triangle that we want. So the calculation that we want for that is just 8 times 4, which takes us to 32. And then 32 divided by 2 takes us down to 16. Okay. Okay, so question 4 is a ratio question. And again, it's probably useful to start with, what does the 2 to 1 mean? Okay, so we're taking these £9, got £9 in total, and we're dividing it into a ratio of 2 to 1. And it's really useful just to think about it in terms of people and what they get. Okay, so here's person A, and here is person B. There we go. So what does this mean? Well, this simply means when I give this person £2, okay, so these are going to be my little pound coins, I will give this person £1. And I'll continue to do that, and they stay, what we say, in the same ratio. So if I was to give this person another £2, well, because I've given person A £2, person B is going to need £1 to keep it in the ratio of 2 for every 1, so £2 for every 1. Where does this leave me? Well, if I counted up all the money that was involved in this first part here, this would give me £3. Okay. If I then took the next lot, so I gave this person another £2, this person another £1, in total, person A is now on for £4. Okay, and person B is on for £2. Okay. And so now let's carry on giving in the same ratio. So person A, well, let's give them another £2. And if I do that, person B is going to need another £1. Okay, so how much have we got so far? Let's change to a different colour here. So in total now, person A has got, there we go, £6. And person B has got £3. And we've achieved what we wanted, because if I have a look at the totals here, 6 add 3, that's £9 in total that I've shared out. So I've divided my £9 into the ratio of 2 to 1. And for now, really, that's all we want you to think about in terms of ratio. Again, there's quick and easy methods here that will get us to the answer a little bit quicker, but it is just a case of sharing out money between the two people in this case, because we've got 2 parts to our ratio, in the ratio of 2 to 1, until we add up our total. So go line by line. There's my first line, there's my second sharing and my third sharing, until you add up the numbers to get to the total there that you've got to divide it into. I will go on to video 2 now.